Hello my dear friends and welcome to my channel. My name is Barbara and today we're going to be looking at Mars in Scorpio. So this video is for you if you have this placement. If you're a cross watcher, welcome as well. Very excited to get into this particular video because it just so happened to align that it is raining outside and a little bit of a thunderstorm is kind of happening in the background. It's subsiding now, but I was thinking to myself, wow, can it be any more ideal, this type of situation? So let's get into it. I love Scorpio energy. If you guys are new here, definitely check out my Scorpio / 8th house playlist. I'm sure that you guys will find a lot of good nuggets in there as well. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Mars in our natal charts deals with our ambition, it deals with our goals, it deals with how we go about getting our goals, it deals with our passions in life, the things that really ignite that fire within. It's all about that forward momentum energy. Scorpio, ruled by Mars. Used to be ruled by Mars at least. Currently it is ruled by Pluto, but still that energy is in there. So we have the god of war energy going on in here, paired with the god of the underworld. So if anybody knows the depths of life, it's definitely going to be you guys. You guys definitely understand the darkness, which is just so perfect. The ambiance is probably my darkest actually video that I've recorded in terms of the lighting because of the storm outside. So if anybody understands darkness, it's going to be you guys. So pairing Mars, which is the action, the forward momentum, with Scorpio, honestly, for you guys, this is not for the faint of heart. We have to keep in mind, Scorpionic energy is the most self-preserving sign. Scorpio deals with power and control. So the ultimate end goal for whatever you guys do is power and control. You guys are trying to get to some form of power and control because you guys are trying to preserve yourselves. You're trying to keep yourselves protected. And it's very interesting energy, the Mars and Scorpio, because Scorpio energy sometimes might come off selfish to other people. But it's like at the end of the day, I do feel like Scorpionic energy just understands that this journey of life really starts with the self and ends with the self, and everything in between is just the moment, essentially, is really what that is. You guys are probably going to be even very artistic. You guys could even be very poetic. You guys are going to really understand the depths of darkness. You guys are going to go through a lot of change. You're going to go through a lot, but you're also going to go through a lot of change when you guys have this particular placement. So to other people, you guys might come off intense. That's something that people might say about you guys, that you guys are intense or that you guys take things very seriously. And the Scorpionic person absolutely takes every single thing seriously. You guys put your whole selves into whatever it is that you guys are doing. And this is why when you guys are in your highest vibration, which is that Phoenix rising state, you guys are manifesting left, right, and center. But it's a matter of actually getting to that point, because sometimes when you guys have Mars in Scorpio and you guys are in the lower versions of Scorpio, well, what might end up happening is you guys might self-destruct. You guys might go into addictions. You guys might go into these types of darker energies, maybe the darker realms of life. You guys could very much be attracted to fast money and just the lower aspects of society. That's very Scorpionic. Everything in society that is the lower version of society, things like drugs, gambling, well, that is all Scorpio in the shadow. So you guys might find yourselves attracted to maybe these careers or trying to get money fast, or in general, you guys might find yourselves very obsessed with money. Money is always going to be on your mind. Taurus and Scorpio, that is that money access, except Scorpio knows that they don't have to technically work hard for the money. That's where you guys might kind of get into trouble, or you guys might fall into the fast money, or you guys might fall into things like even gambling when you have Mars and Scorpio, because it's Scorpio knows that they can manifest. They know that they have this ability, but sometimes for Scorpionic energy, for anybody honestly on this earth plane, to get to that point of manifestation where you guys are manifesting left, right, and center, you think it and it happens, you really have to do a lot of inner work, a lot of healing, a lot of destructing belief systems, and even the belief systems that might even have been passed down to you guys are just societal beliefs, in the sense where it's these things might hold you back, where it's the rigidity of this earth plane might make you guys feel you're being held back. You guys kind of feel you have to break through a lot. Honestly, the visual that I always get for this is I don't know if any of you guys know in science, but it's when they're talking about a solid object, the particles are closer together, and then when they're talking about something that's not solid, like a gas, the particles are further apart. So it's for you guys, it's when you come down to this earth plane, it feels very much like that particle energy where it's it's super close, it's dense. It's the density of the earth plane, and it's it just feels like a struggle, especially in the beginning, at least until you guys come into your power. So what I will say for a Mars and Scorpio, because Mars does deal with the solar plexus, for a Mars and Scorpio person, for you guys, it's all about coming into your full self power, and you guys are going to be very well aware that that power resides in spiritual strength. That's the thing with a Mars and Scorpio individual, whether they are open about it or not open about it, Mars and Scorpio is operating on the spiritual plane. planes and in these spiritual realms. You guys are going to be highly aware of how things manifest, how to manifest things. Some of you guys might be very into the occult or like things like sex magic, like these types of things, literally all types of magic, rituals, the occult once again. And you'll notice that a lot of people who are in high positions in society have definitely used one of these things that I have previously mentioned to get to those positions. That is just how it works. That's the nature of this plane. It's all about energy. So you guys are going to be very much about energy, learning all about energy. So for Mars and Scorpio person, it's kind of like the earlier part of your life. Yes, there's definitely a lot of things that you guys might have to clear energetically because Scorpio is connected with darkness and trauma, but it's almost like you guys go through these things so they don't scare you anymore. You know what I mean? Like things that might scare the everyday person don't technically scare a Mars and Scorpio person. You guys kind of harness that energy. That's really what it comes back down to. It's like you guys are very well aware once again of the energy and how to harness it and how to keep it your own. With that being said, you guys are going to be highly aware of sexual energy, how to harness sexual energy and your own sexual energy, and sometimes you're going to be harnessing the sexual energy of other people. But that's a different conversation for a different day. I'm sure some of you guys know what I'm talking about when I say that. I'm not going to get into it too much, but that's the overall idea. For you guys, it's all about sexual energy. Mars already deals with sex overall and your sexuality, but so does Scorpio. And it's interesting because whether you guys are aware of it or not, you guys are somehow controlling this, right? You're somehow using this energy. And honestly, because you guys possess a lot of this sexual energy, you guys are going to be very magnetic to people around you. Sometimes people aren't even going to be aware of what it is that they're picking up on. Sometimes you might notice just people staring at you guys or just like following you, you know, like let's say like you went to an event, and not in a creepy way, but you guys can get stalkers too, actually, unfortunately, with the Scorpio energy, because it's like there's something in your energetic field that might create this obsession out of people or this like curiosity out of people. In turn, you guys can also be very obsessive yourselves, absolutely, and you guys want to take this to your advantage, and I'm sure that you guys already do. And it's like, once again, going back to that whole like the Scorpio person puts all of themselves into whatever it is that they're doing. They're harnessing that energy. So it's like for you guys, whatever your goals are, whatever your ambitions are, whatever you guys are trying to manifest or bring through, you're putting your full selves into that. And you might notice for Mars and Scorpio people, it's like, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of like athletes or like people who have like a big game or something of that sort, where like they don't sleep with anybody before their game or like this big event that they might have or like this big match or whatever it is. It's because they are harnessing that sexual energy. Sometimes it's the coaches who tell them this, but it's like people who are very successful are very aware of everything to do with the energetic world. It's just like, it's not talked about because if everybody knew it, everybody would do it, right? So that's kind of how it works. But you guys, Mars and Scorpio, you might just do this intuitively. You guys might just do this without even realizing. You might just like energetically distance yourselves from people when you're trying to manifest something and you're trying to bring something through. You guys are aware of the energetics of things. You guys know that somebody's energy can affect what it is that you guys are trying to bring through and manifest. It's true, honestly, when they say, and I'm hearing more and more people talk about this these days, where it's like when you have something that you're trying to bring through or a goal or an ambition or whatever it is, you do not want to tell people about it because people can energetically interfere. Recently, I wrote a Threads post about this and I'm going to be paraphrasing now, but basically what I was saying was that, you know, there's that quote where people say like, what's meant for you won't miss you. But what I was saying was that actually things could miss you and people can energetically interfere. And a Mars and Scorpio person is going to be very well aware of this. So for the people around you, you guys might come off secretive, but it's not that you're being secretive, you're being private and you're like protecting, you're energetically protecting whatever it is you guys are trying to bring through. And you guys have probably noticed throughout your lives, anytime even more than one energy was involved in something, and unfortunately sometimes more people do have to be involved. Let's say it's like a partner, a business partner, or something of that sort, and you guys are trying to bring through something together, but you guys are always going to know that that person's energy might be interfering with your thing. Like that's where the thought is always going to go for a Mars and Scorpio person, whether it's true, whether it's not true, because you guys are self-preserving and you're aware again of the energetics of things. Right away, if something's not coming through in the way that you guys had envisioned or how fast you guys had envisioned, and there's another person involved, the mind automatically goes to that person and you're like, that person is energetically affecting it. Let's say you guys are trying to bring it through together. Now, to make things a little bit more interesting, the more people you add to a manifestation, you guys can actually bring it through faster. So there's that aspect of things as well, where it's like, yes, people can energetically interfere, but there's also the aspect of manifestation where it's like the more people you add to the manifestation, you can actually harness it faster and bring it through faster. But to get to that point, once again, is a really, really strong belief in the self. Unfortunately, I'm not going to go too much into this video. Some of you guys are going to know what I'm talking about. For other people, think about it and it will come through for you guys of how that works, that energetic aspect of things, where you guys can also go in that direction where you harness energy to manifest something. But anyways, back to Mars and Scorpio. So for you guys, it's like a lot of the time, group projects, projects, things that involve other individuals and other people probably aren't going to be something that you guys are interested in, because it's like at the end of the day for you guys, because Scorpio does deal with the ego, and honestly, I always say this, I do feel like Scorpio has one of the biggest egos out of all the signs, because it's like you guys have that intuitive nature. You guys are aware of all these things that most people are not. So in terms of the fixed signs, I find that all of the fixed signs have an ego that they're all dealing with in one way, shape, or form. Sometimes people think that Leo has the biggest ego. This is just my opinion. I think Scorpio's got the biggest ego because they are aware of just like how great they can be because of the spiritual nature of things, and they feel like because they go through all these things, they're always coming up better. And that's the thing, it's just the catharsis that you guys are going through. So for you guys in the Mars, it's going to be through your goals, through your ambitions, through anything to do with that you guys are starting. That Mars energy can really be about the self, because Aries is about the self. That's what Mars is ruled by. So it's like when you guys are in the more developed energy, I always talk about having a strong solar plexus chakra, a strong core, a strong identity. And you guys are fully in your power, and you guys know who you guys truly are, and that nobody can really interfere with you guys anymore. People can kind of throw you off if you guys are unhealed, or if you have a wound. Sometimes the energy can struggle with codependency, addictions, all these types of things. Although for Scorpionic energy, they really get to that I don't give an F energy like really quickly. And then when you guys are in the energy, honestly, you guys might feel like you're unstoppable, because it's like you're holding the energy to yourselves. So in the earlier part of your life, again, there could be a lot of ups and downs until you guys kind of learn energy, how to not let other people affect it, how to kind of keep it your own until it's in fruition. Obviously, eventually, when something comes to fruition, you guys are okay with other people knowing. But while it's in that like baking stage and it's still kind of like still being made, for you guys, you're probably best off not saying anything to anybody, because if anything goes off, automatically you guys are going to go to that energy where it's like, oh, I shouldn't have said that to that person, because people can interfere with their thoughts. That's just the harsh reality. And a lot of the time, it's going to be people who are in your closest circle. Unfortunately, those are the people that can interfere the most. I feel like energetically, because of the fact that you've let them into your circle, they can affect you more than like, let's say, people that you don't know. But anyways, that's just my own theory. I'm sure you guys have your own theories, because you guys are Mars and Scorpio at the end of the day. So that's the whole thing here, okay? It's all about energy. It's all about manifestation. It's all about sexual energy. It's all about harnessing that energy. It's about energy in general. You guys are very, very aware, and you guys are very, very aware of how to manifest, first of all, on a subconscious level. And then eventually, when you guys bring it out of the subconscious into the conscious, it's that unstoppable energy, because it's like you guys really feel like you know things that most people don't, and you do, because it's like the nature of the physical plane always starts in the spiritual planes first. It's always manifesting up there first, and that's where you guys are operating out of. It's that alchemist energy. The Mars and Scorpio energy can literally turn dust into gold, and I think that that's what I'm going to name this video. Like, you guys can literally create something out of nothing. That is that Mars and Scorpio energy, because you guys are very, very aware. I'm going to bring it back to being in your full power. That's kind of what you guys are manifesting here, and the personal power comes from that solar plexus chakra. So it's like when you guys are in the lower versions, because Scorpio does go through a lot of trials and tribulations, like I mentioned, you guys might struggle with fast money, you guys might struggle with boundaries. When you have a Mars and Scorpio, you guys might be explosive. It's like your energy isn't being directed in the way where it should be, because everyone has their own goals in life. For you guys, when you guys are able to fully invest yourselves into whatever it is that you guys are doing, because Scorpio is fixed water, it deals with the emotions, it deals with the intuition. It's all about that energy, and Scorpio is dealing with the undercurrents of energy. And also the Mars and Scorpio person is always going to turn darkness. You guys are going to turn something dark, something intense, something like hardcore that happened to you guys, and turn it into gold. You guys can really transmute. You guys are going to definitely be powerful manifestors, yes, but also very powerful at transmuting. And eventually you guys are probably going to get to that point where it's like you're just exuding all of this light energy. You're exuding all this also sexual energy. Keep in mind, sexual energy, psychic energy, healing energy, creative energy is all very well connected. So you guys are also going to be very good at, yes, manifesting, but also at being creative. Absolutely. You guys are going to probably even be interested, let's say, even in something artistic. It depends on the rest of your charts. Let's say you're really transmuting something that happened to you and you make something beautiful with it. That is going to be Mars in Scorpio. But the end goal, what I will say overall for them, is to get to some point of power. It's all about power. It's all about control. And in the current society that we're living in, money does equal power and control. So a lot of the time, Mars and Scorpio people, you guys can be very good at literally anything. It's just a matter of setting your mind to that thing and focusing on it. Obviously, there's going to be the occult elements there. You guys are always going to be interested in things like astrology. My top videos are always the Scorpio videos, because honestly, you guys are very well aware of all of these things that are happening behind the scenes in terms of the energetic aspect of things. But honestly, if you start to look at people's charts who are in higher positions of power, you'll see Scorpio in a lot of their natal charts, whether it's Mars in Scorpio, whether it's midheaven in Scorpio, anything that really, again, deals with your ambition, whether it's North Node in Scorpio, they are climbing to these places of power, but it's always strategic. It's always silent. Scorpio energy can also throw in a diversion. That could be something that you guys do when you do become aware of like people around you maybe like feeling jealous or like maybe knowing too much about where it is that you guys are trying to go. You guys are going to throw a diversion at them. That's Scorpio energy, honestly. But it's like you guys will throw in a diversion. Let's say like this person knows that maybe you're working towards something. You'll start talking about something else just so they focus their energy on that. Let's say your goal is to, I don't know, become a cook, and maybe that person knows. Maybe it's your friend, maybe it's your best friend, maybe it's even your partner. Let's say you guys know that that person knows and you kind of feel something off. Maybe they're kind of holding you back energetically. Maybe you guys feel like some sort of dark energy is interfering with the goal that you guys might have. You guys will throw these people off. You're going to say something completely different. You're going to be like, now I want to be a lawyer, just to throw them off, or whoever it is. Let's say you guys had a friend in your friend group and you thought this person was real, but actually they're like sending you maybe some sort of shady energy, or you guys are picking up on it. Like a Mars and Scorpio person is always going to pick up on it. And for them, they do not want anybody interfering with their manifestations, with their goals. Honestly, like the Mars and Scorpio person is going to be very quick to just cut off people. If they sense any sort of nefarious activity, any sort of shady behavior, any sort of just like vibes coming from another person, they'll cut that person off, because it's like for a Mars and Scorpio person, it's self-preservation. And it's like, how dare you? That's kind of like the energy with Mars and Scorpio. It's like, how dare you come in the way of my goals, or how dare you try to interfere? I don't know how to explain it. In a way, this energy takes it personal almost. They take it very personally, where it's like, you're trying to interfere with my thing. It's like, no. Now I'm going to show you even more of what I can do. Now I'm going to show you even more of how far I can go. It's kind of like the energy, because it deals with the ego. But it's like, it's such a trust in itself that eventually that scorpionic energy gets to, when they come into that full blown like harness energy, being in their own power, not being drained by situations or jobs or these types of things. Mars and Scorpio could be really good at even working for themselves. It really depends on the rest of the natal chart. I'm going to say Mars and Scorpio is a very good placement for whatever it is that you guys want to do. It's definitely going to execute that thing. Like, it's going to get to the goal one way or another. There might be trials and tribulations, but it's like, if anything, Scorpionic energy is persistent. They don't get knocked down too easily. They've been through a lot in their life. They're not really going to care. Like, that's the thing with the Mars and Scorpio energy. They might get knocked down. They might get tired. They might get drained, like energetically and spiritually, yes, but they'll bounce back fast. And honestly, it'll bounce back better than ever, and nobody will expect it. That's the thing. Nobody will expect it. They might disappear for some periods of time. Also, if you have a Mars and Scorpio and you guys have like a huge project coming or something that you guys are trying to birth, you guys might disappear, because it's like, let's say you guys are posting online, energy. People's energy is being focused towards you. Scorpio makes people think that, yes, like people know them, but it's like there's always something more that's going on beneath the surface. The Mars and Scorpio person wants to squeeze as much as they can out of this life. And also because it's fixed water, it's going to definitely have that goal and just focus on that thing. Sometimes the energy honestly can operate with blinders on. They might not take like advice from other people, because it's very much intuitive. And it's like, when something resonates with this energy, or there's a way of doing something, let's say somebody else is saying do it this way, they have their own way of doing it, and it's like, maybe it'll take longer, but because it resonates with them on that intuitive soul level, nothing can change their mind, nothing can stop them. And that's for everything. For a Mars and Scorpio person, is in every realm of their life. When they are in tune with that feeling, that intuitive muscle, nothing can change their mind. And that's sometimes a good thing, sometimes a bad thing. So for this particular energy, they're not going to feel bad leaving people behind, places behind when they're younger. Yes, maybe when you guys were growing up, there was a lot of loss, but eventually you guys get used to it, and you guys just accept this as a way of life. It's like, for some other people, they might not leave a job for a long period of time, or a relationship for a long period of time. And it's like, for you guys as the Mars and Scorpio person, you guys might kind of be like, why are you constantly watering that dead plant? For you guys, the more in your power that you get, the faster you guys are at cutting things off, things that no longer serve you, because it's all about that self-preservation energy, and to get to whatever goal that it is that you guys want to get to. So one more thing that I wanted to touch on in this video for Mars and Scorpio is how you guys handle anger and how you guys handle conflict. It's very interesting, because it's going to depend as to what phase of Scorpio you guys are in, and how aware or unaware you guys are, how healed and unhealed you guys are, and at what point in your journey you're in. If you guys are more in the lower versions of Scorpio, you guys might be very explosive when you have this placement. You guys, like, when you get angry, you might explode. You guys might like just really cut with your words. Sometimes with this energy, when it gets upset or frustrated, or in that like heat of the moment argument, you guys might really bring up people's shadows to the surface and like say it to them. You guys might just naturally be picking up on that person's shadows, or maybe you guys thought about it, and it's like, you guys know sometimes also, like, let's say you guys are in an argument, let's say it's coming from a different place that the other person thinks that it's coming from, but you guys are aware because you're very psychic, you're very intuitive, where it's actually coming from. You guys might bring that up, and it's like, you guys might call that person out for like doing it for that reason, and then that person might be like, that's not why I'm doing it, I'm actually talking about about this, and then it turns into like an even bigger escalation. That's also something that can happen for Mars and Scorpio. Also for this placement, like whenever I do my lives, I always say Mars and Scorpio, when you guys are underdeveloped, is going to be psychological damage. You guys can say things sometimes when you guys are mad and you're in the heat of the moment where it's like you guys can really maybe hurt the other person. But also when it's like maybe when Scorpio becomes a little bit more contained and has a grasp on their emotions, you guys can be very vengeful. That's the thing for Mars and Scorpio as well. And you guys can plot. That's the thing. You guys can very much plot out situations to the point where it's like you guys can really screw people over, whether you guys are aware of it or not. But usually you guys are going to be, especially if you guys are in like that vengeful state of Mars and Scorpio, where it's just like you guys plan something. It can be long, it can be drawn out to the point or that person might not even be aware of what they did and can't even say that you plotted this like master plan. This is when you guys are kind of like in the lower versions of Scorpio, in that vengeful state when it comes to conflict. And it's like the divine version of this energy. Honestly, you guys take the anger for whatever it is and you guys channel it into passion and you channel it into your goals. The most developed, I guess, version of Scorpio is like they just cut people off. They're like, I can't be bothered with you. Maybe you try talking to these people when it comes to conflict, but it's like if they are not helping your cause, whatever you guys are trying to get to, this energy will just cut these people off. And it's like the energy just won't look back. Also, really quickly, I'm going to touch on how you guys express yourself sexually. The Mars and Scorpio person definitely has a lot of sexual energy like we talked about. You're going to be very magnetic. People are going to be very interested. They're going to wonder about you a lot of the time. Also for a Mars and Scorpio person, it depends. It depends as to what progression of Scorpio you guys are in, because you guys can really be seeking that mind, body, spirit connection where it's like sexually, it's really like merging. It could very much be like a merging type of energy, going to higher heights, elevating. You guys can use it for manifestation. I'm going to slip that in there as well. But also this energy can sometimes weaponize sex as well. So something to keep in mind, there's a light side and a dark side to everything. But the ultimate divine version of a Mars and Scorpio is harnessing the energy, keeping their energy and focusing on their goals and channeling it into whatever their passions are. Because you guys are master manifestors. You guys are able to get to that point of manifesting left, right, and center. And people are always going to wonder. You might have a lot of people that might want to feed off of your energy, but eventually when you guys are in your power, you'll definitely become more and more aware of this. So with all that being said, I'm going to wrap up my Mars and Scorpio video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please do like, share, and subscribe. And I hope you all have a beautiful rest of the day.